We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
The Apollo missions of the 1960s and 70s represented the height of human achievement as NASA's effort to overcome the final horizon. But amidst the victories and tributes, there existed a dark mystery, a secret harbored by one of the brave souls who journeyed to the lunar surface. But before his passing, this Apollo astronaut made an incredible revelation.
I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you have done.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Revealing a horrifying secret that he'd kept to himself all these decades. What exactly is this terrifying secret, and why did it take him so long to finally reveal this hidden and closely guarded truth? Join us as we unravel how an Apollo astronaut revealed a terrifying secret just before his death. Journey to the moon. For ages, humans have gazed at the moon with wonder. It's been like a guiding light in the night sky, not just a distant object, but a celestial companion that plays a crucial role in shaping our world. They've known for a long time that the moon's gravitational pull keeps the Earth in its orbit, maintaining the delicate balance that allows life to grow. Its influence even extends to the tide and flow of the ocean tides, a constant reminder of its power. But their passion with the moon goes beyond just observation. Since the aftermath of World War II, brutal competition occurred between the United States and the Soviet Union, spanning various arenas including economics, culture, and most notably, military and space exploration. The race to overcome space became a symbol of fame and power. When Yuri Gagarin, a Soviet cosmonaut, became the first human to journey into outer space in 1961, it aroused a heated race to reach new celestial heights. And then, in 1969, came the important achievement of the Apollo 11 mission. Led by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, the crew achieved the supposedly impossible feat of landing on the lunar surface. As Armstrong famously remarked, it was one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. This singular event marked a crucial milestone in their journey to the stars, showcasing their readiness to explore the universe. The crew of Apollo 11 is highly respected in schools and society, and rightly so. These men took huge risks and achieved something remarkable. Even today, only a few have achieved what they did. While Armstrong and Aldrin are often the focus of discussions about space research, there's another member of the crew who deserves more recognition: Michael Collins. Born in Rome in 1930, Collins was raised in a military family. Following in his father and brother's footsteps, he joined the Air Force. After flying several missions, he was chosen as one of NASA's third group of 14 astronauts in 1963. A few years later, Collins was selected for the Apollo 11 mission. His role during the mission was crucial, yet often overlooked. While Armstrong and Aldrin made history by setting foot on the moon, Collins piloted the command module, orbiting the moon while they conducted their lunar activities. Collins's contribution was vital to the success of the mission, yet he didn't receive the same level of attention as his fellow astronauts. Aldrin and Armstrong separated from the main spacecraft and flew to the moon in their lunar module called Eagle, while Michael remained in the main craft, guiding it from the command module. This happened on July 12, 1969. When the Eagle landed on the moon's surface, it marked a significant milestone in human history, confirming their arrival on a completely new frontier. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to step foot on the moon, carving their names into the annals of history and signaling a new era for humanity. During their almost 2-hour stay on the moon, Armstrong and Aldrin performed various experiments, gathered samples of lunar rocks, and proudly planted the American flag. Their huge achievement was further expanded when they made a direct call to President Nixon from the lunar surface, with the conversation broadcasted for the world to hear. Amidst all the excitement, Michael played a crucial role back in the command center. While he could have joined his fellow astronauts on the moon, he remained dedicated to his duty, ensuring the spacecraft stayed on its designated course and operating the command center with accuracy and focus. His selfless commitment signified the teamwork and determination that motivated the historic mission forward. After joining Michael back in the main spacecraft, Neil and Armstrong embarked on their journey home on July 24th. Finally, on that day, the crew of Apollo 11 gracefully splashed down into the largeness of the Pacific Ocean, marking the successful conclusion of their historic journey. The astronauts were not just celebrated, but they were honored by people worldwide, with a special emotion in the United States. Their feats symbolized the satisfaction of a dream that had lasted for centuries, a dream shared by countless scientists and visionaries who yearned to touch the lunar surface and live among the stars. The space race. The space race was a crucial part of the Cold War, not just because it showcased technological skill, but also because it symbolized the serious rivalry between the USA and the USSR. This period witnessed remarkable developments in space exploration, fueled by the brutal competition between these two superpowers. From the late 1950s to the 1960s, there was an extraordinary pace in the exploration of space. The USSR took an early lead with groundbreaking achievements. They launched Sputnik, the world's first satellite, in 1957, and 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human to journey into space. These milestones were not just displays of technological superiority, but also served as global spectacles, highlighting the Soviet Union's space skills and putting pressure on the United States to keep up. Both nations pushed the boundaries during this period, striving to achieve remarkable feats in space exploration. It was a period characterized by daring innovation and relentless competition, driving humanity's quest to overcome the final horizon. The space race was an incredibly thrilling and serious time that captured the imagination of people everywhere. Across the globe, individuals eagerly tuned in as each new mission embarked on its journey into the vast unknown of space. The United States, in particular, put in a huge effort to catch up, resulting in groundbreaking achievements such as sending astronauts to the moon. However, this rivalry wasn't just about reaching outer space. It was a brutal contest to demonstrate which nation was the most powerful and innovative. Every milestone achieved in space exploration became a source of huge pride, showcasing each country's strength to the world. This competitive spirit not only propelled improvements in space technology, but also fundamentally changed our understanding of the universe. The space race catalyzed both nations to seek excellence. It was a period marked by numerous firsts, as boundaries were pushed and history was made. The intense competition between the USA and the USSR sparked a remarkable focus on space exploration, transforming their rivalry into a shared pursuit of discovery that left a memorable impact not only on themselves, but on the entire world. The United States didn't want to fall behind in space exploration. They were determined. Led by President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the country set an ambitious goal. They wanted to send a person to the moon and bring them back safely before the 1960s ended. This was a big deal and set the stage for what's known as the Apollo program. Even though they faced some tough times at the beginning, they kept going. And eventually, in 1969, something amazing happened. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to walk on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission. It was a huge moment that many people saw as the United States winning the space race. This race had pushed both sides to push the limits of what was possible in space. But it wasn't just about winning a race. The competition sparked all sorts of new ideas and inventions. It led to better rockets, ways to talk to each other through satellites, and new ways for people to travel in space. Take, for example, the Apollo missions. These were journeys to the moon led by the United States. To make these trips possible, scientists had to build the Saturn V rocket, which was the strongest rocket ever built at that time. This rocket was like a giant engine that propelled astronauts toward the moon. But the Apollo missions were about more than just going to the moon. They sparked a wave of progress in different fields. Scientists and engineers had to come up with new ways to solve problems, like how to navigate through space and how to communicate with astronauts millions of miles away. They also had to develop new materials that could withstand the harsh conditions of space. Beyond the scientific advancements, the Apollo missions were part of a larger competition called the space race. This was a showdown between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. The Soviets took an early lead by launching the first satellite and sending the first human into space. These achievements made the world take notice and wonder who would come out on top in this new frontier. When the United States successfully landed on the moon, it wasn't just about planting a flag or taking a giant leap for mankind. It was a statement of American imagination and determination. It showed the world that the United States was a leader in research and creation, capable of achieving the seemingly impossible. So, the Apollo missions were more than just historic moments in space exploration. They were symbols of human intention, perseverance, and the endless possibilities of what they can achieve when they work together towards a common goal. After the space race wrapped up, how countries ventured into space started to change. Instead of competing fiercely, they began to cooperate. A crucial turning point was the Apollo-Soyuz test project in 1975. This historic event marked the meeting of an American spacecraft with a Soviet one in space, symbolizing the capacity for former space rivals to cooperate. It wasn't merely about ending a race, it signaled the start of a new era where nations supported each other in space exploration efforts. Thereafter, they witnessed grander joint ventures, such as constructing and employing the International Space Station, and orchestrating missions together to deepen their understanding of space. Reflecting on the space race, it occurs as a pivotal period, surpassing beyond a mere contest between two nations to outshine each other in space. It was also a time fraught with earthly tensions between them. However, it urged humanity to accomplish remarkable feats in space research. The dedication and victories during that period laid the groundwork for all successive space exploration efforts. Presently, the allure of space exploration captivates people worldwide, inspiring them to seek breakthroughs and advancements in science and technology. The journey of exploring space underscores the serious realization that collective effort can achieve extraordinary feats once deemed impossible, and humanity boldly ventured forth into the unknown. Unsung hero. Certainly, Michael's role may not have received the grand attention or applause it truly deserved, yet his contribution was paramount. Imagine, without Michael, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin might have found themselves adrift in the largeness of space, stranded after their extraordinary moonwalks, gathering samples of lunar rocks and soil. Michael was the unknown hero, diligently struggling behind the scenes while others enjoyed the limelight. He was the backbone of the entire operation, the silent force driving one of humanity's greatest achievements. It's interesting to note that in his understated role, Michael earned his share of recognition. As a vital member of the Apollo 11 mission, he joined a special group of only 24 individuals to journey to the moon. Notably, he became the fourth person and the third American to embark on a spacewalk, a feat of both courage and skill. Moreover, Michael holds the recognition of being the first person to undertake multiple spacewalks. Additionally, he carved his name in history as the second person ever to orbit the moon, a lonely journey filled with both wonder and privacy. Michael achieved a lot throughout his career, especially after retiring from NASA in 1970. He didn't just put his feet up. Instead, he ventured into various roles that showcased his versatility and skill. First, he joined the Department of State as the Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs. His excellence in this position quickly led to a promotion, making him the director of the prestigious National Air and Space Museum within a year. By 1978, he had climbed even higher, becoming the Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, a significant achievement indeed. However, his journey didn't follow a straight line. At 1985, he chose a different path, resigning from his esteemed position to pursue entrepreneurship. He founded his consulting firm, where he applied his expertise in new ways, transitioning into the realm of private practice. When they discuss the monumental Apollo 11 mission, the spotlight often shines on Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, rightfully so, as they were the ones who made history by walking on the moon. Yet, Michael's contribution tends to be overshadowed. Many don't realize the pivotal role he played during the mission. While Armstrong and Aldrin examined the lunar surface, Michael found himself alone in the largeness of space, tasked with managing crucial aspects of the mission. His responsibilities extended far beyond mere observation. Michael was deeply involved in the mission's execution. For instance, when Armstrong and Aldrin detached the Eagle from the main space shuttle before descending to the moon's surface, Michael remained aboard, overseeing essential operations. His role was multifaceted and demanding, far from that of a passive bystander. Initially, Michael had the important responsibility of ensuring that the main space shuttle stayed on course, while Armstrong and Aldrin embarked on their lunar journey. Unlike today's advanced space shuttles equipped with autopilot systems that handle most tasks, back then, things were far more hands-on. This meant Michael had to stay incredibly vigilant as he concentrated on guiding the shuttle's path through space. His duties involved making precise adjustments to the shuttle's orbit and path, a task demanding urgent attention to detail. Simultaneously, he had to maintain constant communication with the command center back on Earth. This required Michael to be extremely sharp and ready to respond swiftly to any changes that might occur. In essence, Michael served as the vital link connecting the lunar module on the moon's surface to the main command center on Earth. His role was crucial in maintaining perfect communication between these two distant points, ensuring that everyone remained coordinated and informed throughout the mission. Michael's alertness and diligence were essential in maintaining unity and power between the lunar exploration team and their support team on Earth. People might believe that being a driver is just a simple job, but that's not entirely accurate. Michael spent roughly 21 hours alone in the command module while his buddies explored the lunar surface. He had to remain behind in the huge darkness of space. This situation could have easily shaken many people and caused them crucial mental stress. However, Michael didn't find it all that bad. He found solace in the solitude. He cherished the peace, using the time for deep self-reflection and considering his existence in the huge universe. Michael also had confidence in his ability to maintain communication with Earth's command center and get assistance if needed. This highlights the crucial nature of Michael's role, which might not be immediately evident to most. While he didn't step foot on the moon with the Apollo 11 mission, his absence would have endangered the entire mission's success. Michael himself likened his role to being Armstrong and Aldrin's ride back home. Without him, the victorious heroes wouldn't have been able to return. The mysterious dark side of the moon. Following the historic success of the Apollo 11 mission, the world was attracted by the breathtaking advancements in space exploration and scientific research. With each successive mission to the moon, humanity delved deeper into the mysteries of the lunar landscape, unearthing a treasure collection of knowledge that surpassed all expectations. Through careful research and analysis, researchers unraveled the secrets of the moon's composition, its geological history, and its ability as a platform for future space attempts. In the wake of Apollo 11's triumph, the International Space Station occurred as a sign of international cooperation and technological achievement. From conducting experiments in microgravity to enabling collaboration among nations, the ISS stands as a symbol of unity and progress in the realm of space exploration. Yet, between the celebration of these huge achievements, a covering of secrecy hung over certain aspects of space and lunar travel. It wasn't until Michael's revelation before his passing in 2021 that the world gained insight into the hidden truths of the celestial ventures. His disclosure hinted at a secret narrative, woven with interest and mystery, that had remained covered for decades. Among the most interesting revelations was the mysterious dark side of the moon, a region darkened from Earth's view and soaked in shadows. Despite receiving sunlight like its mate, this sharp area remained largely unknown, casting a covering of mystery over its uncharted landscape. As the moon's farthest reaches beckon explorers with promises of discovery, the attraction of the dark side persists as an overpowering challenge, waiting to be overcome by the next generation of space pioneers. However, the lesser-known dark side of the moon possesses several unique characteristics that differentiate it and make it particularly captivating. One remarkable trait of this hidden hemisphere is its remarkable ability to block out most radio signals coming to and from Earth. This shielding occurs due to the moon's rotation, which keeps the dark side facing away from Earth for most of the time. This peculiarity turns the dark side of the moon into an ideal spot for radio astronomy and unimpeded space exploration. Here, interference from Earth is minimal, providing an optimal environment for those wishing to delve into the mysteries of outer space. Photographs of the dark side of the moon that have been captured and shared with us reveal a stark contrast to its more familiar counterpart. The landscape appears greatly different, with abundant craters and a rugged landscape dominating the site. Notably, the South Pole Aitken Basin, one of the moon's most prominent impact craters, resides on this mysterious side. This lunar landscape offers scientists and explorers a unique canvas for further investigation and discovery. This area is really special because it holds a lot of important features that tell them about how the moon was made and what shaped it to be the way it is now. The dark side of the moon isn't just a mysterious place. It's like a treasure collection of information about the moon's past and the forces that have acted upon it over millions of years. By looking closely at this area, scientists have learned a whole lot about how craters form and how the moon has changed over time. Some smart people think that studying this part of the moon could teach them even more about where the moon came from and why it's important to our whole solar system. There's a big plan in place to learn even more about this intriguing dark side of the moon. A little while back, NASA started something called the Artemis program. One of the things this program wants to do is explore the dark side of the moon in detail, to dig into its secrets. As humans keep reaching for the stars, exploring the moon is a big part of that journey, and the dark side is a key piece of the puzzle they're trying to solve. The mysterious dark side of the moon holds a significant place in their curiosity. But what about Michael? How does he fit into this mysterious scenario? According to reports, while waiting for his companions to return to the main space shuttle, Michael took a daring step. He ventured into the unexplored darkness of the moon. As soon as he crossed over, all communication with the outside world, including his command center back on Earth, was abruptly cut off. It was a stark confirmation that the dark side of the moon indeed severs all radio signals to and from Earth. Interestingly, this incident marked one of the earliest illustrations of what they call radio silence, a situation where someone finds themselves completely isolated from communication with others. Despite the initial privacy, Michael eventually ventured out of the dark side's grasp. He expressed considerable relief upon re-establishing communication with his base back on Earth. As for the mysterious dark side of the moon, developments are underway regarding its exploration and accessibility. In 2019, the China National Space Administration initiated a groundbreaking endeavor named Chang'e 4. This mission aimed to explore the dark side of the moon, a region largely uncharted. The spacecraft sent on this daring journey successfully made a gentle touchdown within the von Karman crater, nestled in the South Pole Aitken Basin. This accomplishment marked a historic milestone, as it was the first instance of a spacecraft landing softly in this particular lunar zone. This feat opened up exciting prospects for further investigation into this unexplored territory. Together, Chinese researchers dispatched a state-of-the-art rover known as the U-22 to traverse the lunar landscape. The rover's primary objective was to carefully analyze the topography and composition of the moon's surface, aided by its array of complicated scientific instruments. Moreover, equipped with advanced ground-penetrating radar technology, the rover ventured into potential subsurface structures, probing the moon's depths for hidden mysteries. Fast forward to 2021, an interesting development emerged from the U-22 rover's ongoing exploration. Reports surfaced indicating that the rover had encountered a mysterious object on the distant horizon while traversing the rugged terrain of the von Karman crater. The thing they found was a cube-shaped object, kind of like a block, sitting about 26 feet away from the rover. This info comes from a diary shared by a Chinese science group called Our Space, which is linked to the China National Space Administration. They called it a mystery hut, but most folks think that was just a temporary name, not telling us much about what it looked like. Experts think it's probably some leftover stuff like debris from a big smash that happened on the dark side of the moon. But since that mention, nobody's said much else about it. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. Before his death, this Apollo astronaut revealed a terrifying secret. It was a stormy evening when Commander Vance's grandchildren gathered around his bedside, their eyes wide with anticipation as they listened to their grandfather's fading voice. With trembling hands, he reached for a worn-out journal tucked beneath his pillow, its pages filled with memories of a journey that transcended the limits of imagination. "Listen closely," he began, his voice raspy yet firm. "Before I embarked on the Apollo 17 mission, I received a classified briefing from NASA. They revealed to me a truth so profound, so utterly terrifying, that it haunted my every step on the lunar surface. During their exploration of a desolate crater while on the lunar surface, the crew stumbled upon an ancient structure buried beneath the lunar dust, an artifact of extraterrestrial origin. Its unearthly design and enigmatic symbols spoke of a civilization far more advanced than humanity could comprehend. In that moment," Commander Vance continued in his trembling voice, "we realized that we were not alone in the universe. The truth we uncovered was more horrifying than any of us could have imagined." His last words, uttered in a voice that was barely above a whisper, "It's time the world knew the truth. We are not alone, and the darkness that awaits us, it's coming." And with those final words, Commander Thomas Vance closed his eyes for the last time, leaving behind a legacy fraught with uncertainty and fear. Do you agree with Commander Vance that there are other advanced civilizations within the vast expanse of our universe? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The moon landing mystery. Up until now, they've delved into one of the major mysteries surrounding the moon and the experiences of Michael Collins in that realm. But there's another captivating aspect tied to Michael in the Apollo 11 mission. Back in 2018, Joe Rogan, known as the world's top podcaster, stumbled upon an extraordinary image that raised doubts about the entire moon landing and the Apollo 11 mission. During an episode of his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. Joe Rogan welcomed Ben Azrin, a former notable mixed martial arts fighter, for a conversation about space exploration and the moon landing. Among the topics discussed was a questionable photo supposedly illustrating the moon landing, featuring Michael Collins. The photo was first released in Collins's 1974 book, Carrying the Fire. Strangely, this image seems to be unique to that publication and isn't widely circulated elsewhere. Despite its scarcity, those who have seen the image often speculate about its authenticity, with many leaning toward the belief that it might be a forgery. This discovery adds another layer of interest to the already mysterious story of the Apollo 11 mission. The famous photo of astronaut Michael standing on the moon might not be what it seems. Some say he's not on the lunar surface at all, but in a room made to look like space. Michael standing in a dark room with a blurry backdrop meant to mock the largeness of space. Surprisingly, NASA hasn't confirmed or denied this claim. However, many people have noticed similarities between this photo and another one supposedly taken during astronaut training. The only difference is that the space version looks more blurry and dark. Critics of the moon landing theory also argue that if astronauts were truly in space, the camera footage wouldn't look so perfect. They suggest that celestial radiation would affect the film, causing misshaping. But in this photo, everything seems clear except for the blurriness, without any visible signs of radiation. Some assume that astronauts might have used specially crafted cameras during the Apollo 11 mission to capture these images. So the mystery of Michael's moonwalk continues to interest doubters and space enthusiasts alike. The fact that nobody knows for sure makes it quite tricky to confirm whether these claims are true or not. Additionally, some people have pointed out that in this picture, Michael appears to be walking on the moon. However, according to most official reports, he didn't land on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission. As mentioned earlier, Michael's role was mainly to manage the spacecraft and serve as the getaway pilot, while Armstrong and Aldrin went on to the moon and planted the American flag on its surface. In 2006, NASA did acknowledge that they had erased and reused some of the original footage from the moon landing. The agency stated that nearly 200,000 tapes had been cleaned magnetically and reused as a cost-saving measure. In 2009, certain edited footage and images resurfaced for public view. Despite appearing clearer, their credibility was weakened by the widely known fact that they were not authentic. The Apollo 11 mission catapulted the astronauts to worldwide fame. As soon as the astronauts splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, they were greeted by an overwhelming wave of media attention. They embarked on a whirlwind tour, sharing tales of their extraordinary mission and brave efforts in different nations. During one notable stop in the Netherlands, the astronauts, accompanied by then U.S. Ambassador James William Mundorf, embarked on a goodwill trip. There, they met with Dutch Prime Minister William Drey and presented him with what was purported to be a piece of moon rock. However, in a surprising turn of events, in 2009, the Dutch National Museum confirmed that the rock they had been given was not lunar in origin at all. Instead, it turned out to be a mere piece of weakened wood. The revelation caused quite a commotion, casting doubt on the authenticity of other artifacts associated with the historic moon landing. There's a tale so unusual, so incredible, that even the most creative minds couldn't dream it up. This respected geologist, Frank Boynck, dismissed a supposedly ordinary rock as utterly worthless, claiming it couldn't possibly be from space. The rock's origin story is surrounded by mystery. Ambassador Mid Andorf, caught in the middle, points fingers at the State Department, washing his hands of any involvement like a character straight out of a comedy sketch. Why would the State Department pull such a stunt? Astronauts making a pit stop in the Netherlands was already a big deal. So why add insult to injury by palming off a fake rock on the Dutch? Were the Dutch the only ones duped? Or were astronauts pouring these worthless stones like confetti wherever they went? Since NASA admitted to certain details, those who always believed the moon landing was fake have become even more vocal. They insist there's more to the story than what's been revealed. Even if these claims are baseless, it's undeniable that this casts a shadow over NASA and the astronauts involved. What are your thoughts on the revelation of the Apollo astronaut before his death? Let us have your opinions in the comments below.